الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Continue reading in the work entitled Adab al-Daris wal-Mudarris, the manners and etiquettes of the student and the teacher, of the student and the teacher. In our previous class we were reading what the author he had mentioned, rahimahullah ta'ala, with regards to the methodology of learning and memorizing, and that one he will begin memorizing the Quran first and foremost, and then likewise after that which is most important, and showing preference to that which is a priority. And he's mentioning, and we read in our previous class, the importance of prioritizing and learning and memorizing the texts that are considered mukhtasarat, memorizing the texts that are summarized in brief, And after this, he mentioned, after memorizing the likes of these texts in each particular science that will be considered a fundamental and a foundation in that particular text, then he will study and learn the explanation and the detailed interpretation and the benefits and the rulings that are derived from those particular texts that he had memorized. And he will do that by learning at the hands of the one who is most qualified according to those traits that he had mentioned previously. Then he says, rahimahullah ta'ala, وَكُلُّمَا أَتْقَنَ مُخْتَصَرًا انتقل إلى أكبر منه مع المطالعة المتقنة والغاية الدائمة المحكمة. He says, and every time he masters a particular summarized work, meaning he memorizes it precisely, and then he studies and learns it in detail and understands it correctly, he will move on to one that is larger than that. And along with doing the review and the research and studying the details of that particular text and mastering the affairs of that particular science that are mentioned in that summarized text, he says, and likewise to consistently go over it continuously and master and perfect the memorization and the understanding of that. He says, وَتَعْلِيقْ مَا يَرَاهُ مِنَ النَّفَائِسِ وَالْغَرَائِبِ والتعليق ما يراه من النفائس والغرائب وحل المشكلات بما يراه في المطالعة ويسمعه من الأستاذ. And likewise he will as well write down the commentary and the beneficial notes that he sees from the benefits that he comes across while he's studying and reviewing, and while he's learning and while he's researching and the likes, and likewise whenever he's listening to his teacher and the issues that come that come with regards to clarifying the details of affairs that were possibly unclear for him or considered a problem, or he was not aware of them or didn't understand them properly. And whenever he comes across those benefits, he will take them down and he will write them down and he will benefit from them and he will learn them. And he says likewise, وَلَا يَحْتَقِرَنَّ فَائِدَةً يَرَاهَا أَوْ يَسْمَعُهَا فِي أَيِّ فَنٍ كانت بل يبادر إلى كتابتها ثم يواظب على مطالعة ما كتبه. So he says likewise he will not belittle any benefit that he sees or that he hears in any science that he's studying. And no matter the benefit, if he learns something new or hears of a new benefit or a new position that he was unaware of before, he will not belittle that or neglect that or consider it to be insignificant. Rather, he will take that benefit and he will hasten to write it. And to record it. And then he will, after that, be consistent and consecutive in going over and reviewing that which he had written. And going over and reviewing that which he has written. The people of knowledge, they say, al-ilmu saydun wal-kitabatu qaydun. Al-ilmu saydun wal-kitabatu qaydun. That knowledge is a type of game. Sayd, yani that a person he will hunt after. The game, meaning that one will hunt after. An animal that is hunted is considered game. So knowledge is like that as well. It's something that is sought after. And the means to obtain that knowledge and to hold on to it and to keep it is to write it down. And then after that as well, to memorize it. You need to review it and to go over it and to memorize it. So this is the advice that he's mentioning now. And sometimes maybe a person, he'll be given success to take notes or to benefit and the likes like this from the particular class or the lesson, but then he will neglect those notes and not review them. And not go over them and not memorize them or benefit from them. So all of this is from those traps of the devil. Even if shaitan, he cannot stop the student from attending the class. Even he could not stop him from preoccupying himself in the class by listening attentively and taking notes. He will still not stop there. If he can prohibit him from reviewing those notes or memorizing those notes or going over those notes, he will try to do that likewise. So this is a mistake that he's indicating that some of the students maybe they will fall into, and that is that after taking notes, they will take their notebook or the book that they're studying, for example, and put it in the back seat of their car and never open that book again until the next class comes. So this person here, he's not truly benefiting in the manner that is required. That is required. And he will take those notes, and then after class, he'll review them and go over them. And the best way to do that is to do that with a partner and with a companion who also had attended the class. And whenever the benefits are gathered and there's a number of issues that have been learned, then the students, they will gather together and agree to meet at a particular time in a particular place, for example in the masjid after a particular prayer or before a particular prayer, and each one of them will review the issues alone in their house until they believe that they had memorized the affairs. For example, if they're studying the Arabic language, they will memorize the issues that they had covered, the vocabulary words and the likes like this, or the definitions and the likes, or the principles and the rulings with the examples that they have taken, so on and so forth. Whatever was covered in the previous classes, he will review it alone by himself, and he will do that in a manner that he feels comfortable that he has fulfilled that properly, and then he will meet with his companion. His companion had done the same thing. And then they will meet and review together and try to go over those issues without looking at their notes. And if one of them gets stuck, the other one will remind the other. The other one will remind his companion, and they will continue like this until both of them are able to discuss these affairs and tell the other one the issues that were discussed. One of them will tell the other one from memory, and the other one will tell the other one from memory. And whenever they're both comfortable where they can both speak together back and forth about this particular issue, then the knowledge has been memorized and they have learned it properly, alhamdulillah. And whenever the next class comes, it will be beneficial for them, and they would have understood that particular principle or that particular lesson. And the lessons, they're like bricks in a building, in a foundation, and it's a brick by brick and little by little, and a person's education in this manner. So if he takes his time and he learns the lessons one at a time, little by little, after some time you will find that he has a strong foundation. But if a person, he is negligent, especially in the beginning or even sometime through the process, he becomes negligent with regards to reviewing those classes that were taken, then that knowledge will get away from him. Just like the game, it will get away from a person if he does not capture it, if he does not hit it precisely with the arrow and the likes like this, and capture it. So this is the case. It must be written down, and then after that reviewed and memorized. So this is all from the beneficial means of learning. He says, وَلْيَعْتَنِي بِكُلِّ الدُّرُوسِ وَيُعَلِّقُ عَلَيْهَا مَا أَمْكَنَ فَإِنْ عَجَزَ يَعْتَنَ بِالْأَهَمِ. So he says now, rahimahullah, and he will be concerned with all of his lessons, in all of the classes that he's taking. Maybe a student of knowledge, he will have more than one class in a day, or more than one class in a week, for example. He will be studying more than one science, or more than one class in a particular science, and the likes like this. So he's saying that he will have care and concern, meaning with regards to reviewing and going over and checking and researching and memorizing all of the lessons that he takes. And he will, along with that, write down the commentary and the benefits that he has as much as he can. And if he's not able to, then he will show preference in having great concern with that which is most important. with that which is most important. And if he has too many lessons in one day, and he's not able to review all of them in the manner that is required or in the proper manner that is hoped, then he will not neglect all of them. Rather, he will show preference to the one that takes precedence. He will show preference to the one that takes precedence, not neglecting the other classes or neglecting the other lessons. He will still attend them and benefit from them as much as he can, but he will show more preference and more review to those classes that take precedence. And so this is the case, and this is whenever he's not able to, and he strive in all of the sciences, in all of the lessons, and reviewing them all properly, and going over all of them properly, and memorizing and learning all of them in the manner required. So then he will show preference to the one that he is able to, and the one that is most important, and the one that takes preference, along with benefiting from the other classes. Sometimes you will find that there are some classes that the science is a bit easier, or it's lighter to understand. In some lessons or some works, there are a number of benefits, but a lot of that will be admonition, or will be reminders, and the likes like this. So this one is easy to bear and easy to handle, and doesn't require for him to memorize a lot. But other classes, they are going to require a lot of attention. And likewise, there may be a lot of details, and a lot of those issues may be new. So this one will require from him more effort. Some classes may be related to subsidiary issues in their religion, and other issues may be related to the pillars of Islam. So therefore, these will take precedence. And the likes like this, the ones that are related to the creed, and that which will establish his religion properly, or that which he needs in order to learn how to fulfill the obligations daily in the manner that is required upon him. He will show preference to that. Not meaning that he will neglect the rest of the classes. He would attend those as well and benefit from those gatherings and busy himself with knowledge, but he will spend his most effort whenever he is not able to gather between all of them with that which is most important and takes precedence. So he says, وَيَنْبَغِي أَنْ يُرْشِدَ رِفْقَتَهُ وَغَيْرُهُمْ مِنَ الطَّلَبَةِ إِلَى مواطن الاشتغال والفائدة ويذكر لهم ما استفاده على جهة النصيحة والمذاكرة. So now he is discussing the issue with regards to the student and how he would deal with the other students around him. And he said, and it's incumbent for him to direct and to guide those other students along with him. Meaning in the same lessons, and other than them likewise from the students, to the different places of knowledge. And the person who is diligent in learning, and he has experience in that, a student who has experience in learning, he will learn about the different lessons and the different classes and the different teachers as well, and the different times and the likes like this. So he will not hide that knowledge, and he will not conceal that knowledge, and he will not be stingy with that knowledge. Rather, if he hears about some beneficial class or some beneficial course or some beneficial teacher and the likes like this, then he will direct the students to that as well. He will not be stingy and hide that information and hope to have the teacher by himself, for example, and to benefit alone and the likes like this. He will not do that. He will not be stingy with the knowledge. Rather, he will be generous. And from that is to direct the students to the good that he knows, and from his colleagues and from his peers and from those who are with him. And this is what he's advising. And this is from the perfection of the faith and the completion of the deen. As we know the hadith of Anas radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Now, not one of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. Just as a believer and a student of knowledge, he loves to hear about a new lesson and a new class or new opportunity to benefit in his religion for himself, then likewise he will love that for his brothers. So therefore he would direct them to that. And he will not hide that from him, whether they're his colleagues or those who are attending the same lessons with him or other than that likewise. He will direct them to مواطن الاشتغال والفائدة. You need the places of knowledge where the knowledge is being discussed and learned and being taught and being spread, and likewise where there's a benefit. And he says ويذكر لهم ما استفاده على جهة النصيحة وَالْمُذَاكَرَةِ. And he will mention to his companions and to those other students of knowledge that which he himself he benefited from. He will mention to them the benefit that he's obtaining from the likes of these lessons, from the aspect of giving sincere advice, and reviewing and going over the knowledge that he learned, of giving sincere advice and reviewing and going over the knowledge that he had learned. And he will not be bragging to them, I benefited from this and I benefited from that, and I learned this and I learned that. From the aspect of bragging, he says, min jihati an-nasiha. And he is advising the other students that they should attend and that they should be steadfast. And he is mentioning why, because of the great benefit that he has found and the great fruits that he has obtained in this path. And he will mention that, we completed this book and we studied this lesson and we benefited this together and we memorized that together and we went over this issue in this class and in that class and there was great benefit. Alhamdulillah, I'm increasing in steadfastness in my religion by the grace of Allah from attending these classes, and we benefited in this manner, and the likes like this, and the likes like this. And then he will go over the knowledge as well with those other students. And this is the way of a student of knowledge, and he's always striving to benefit from his time and to preoccupy himself with knowledge. So those around him, he will make them into three different categories. And this category here, this is what he's speaking of, from those who are in his company. From those who are in his company. So those people who are in his company, he will look at them from three different aspects. And he will categorize those people that he accompanies from three different categories or aspects. The first one is somebody who is more knowledgeable than him. And this is the case, in the gatherings of knowledge, although all of them are students of knowledge, some of them are firmer in knowledge and stronger in knowledge. And some of them have been on the path of seeking knowledge for a long time or much longer than others. So they will have benefit with them that one maybe he does not have. So that type of student who is along with him in the gathering, he will benefit from him and learn from him and benefit from his manners and benefit from the knowledge that he has. And likewise, on the other hand, maybe there are other students who are under him, who are newer or lesser than him in knowledge. So as well, he will benefit from them likewise by teaching them and helping them and directing them and going over the knowledge with them. And helping them learn. And helping them to understand better that which they had taken together. Because again, the minds, they're not the same. And those who are stronger in knowledge and firmer, they understand quicker. And many times the issues will be clear for some of the students and unclear for others. So the one who is aware of the other students who are newer or who are having a hard time, who are not understanding the issues properly, then likewise whenever he's with them, he will benefit from them by benefiting them. And in reality, he's benefiting himself by reviewing that knowledge and going over that knowledge, and he's helping them. So from one aspect, he's their classmate, and he's their colleague and their peer, but from another aspect, he's like a teacher for them because he is stronger and firmer and he understands. But he will benefit from that likewise by reviewing the knowledge and going over the knowledge, and now that knowledge will be firm. And he will benefit from that. So the first companion is somebody who's more knowledgeable than him, and he's from amongst the students of knowledge in the gathering, and he will benefit from that, the likes of that person, and learn from him in his knowledge and his manners. And likewise, there are others who are lesser than him, and also he will benefit from that person as well by helping them and aiding them and teaching them and trying to clarify for them that which they need clarification from. And it's been mentioned by Al-Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah that he said to Al-Imam Al-Tirmidhi. Al-Imam Al-Tirmidhi rahimahullah, Muhammad ibn Ismail, he's from the greatest students of Al-Imam Al-Bukhari. Al-Imam Al-Tirmidhi. But whenever you read in the biography of At-Tirmidhi, from the benefits, from the virtues that's mentioned about him in his biography, is what his teacher told him. Is what Imam Al-Bukhari, he mentioned to him, he said, أنا ما انتفعت منك أكثر مما انتفعت مني. He said, that which I benefited from you is more than that which you benefited from me. And he's the teacher, but he's telling his student, I benefited more from you than you benefited from me. And the people of knowledge, they mention, because at Tirmidhi, he's always going to him asking questions. He's always going to him asking questions, asking for detailed clarification, asking for the reason for this or the understanding of that, or the authenticity of this, or the issue with regards to this narrator or that narrator or this particular chain, so on and so forth. So therefore, Bukhari, he would either be busy trying to help him understand or researching, trying to help him find the answer and the likes like this. So therefore, he's very busy in this manner, learning and benefiting. So he mentioned from this aspect that he benefited more from him than he benefited from him. And he liked this. So as well, a person, maybe somebody, he will have someone under him, but he can benefit from him in a great manner. Even some of the people of knowledge, they used to say, one of them would say, كان يتحفظ الحديث بتعليم الصبيان. كان يتحفظ الحديث بتعليم الصبيان. That he would review and make his memorization strong of the narrations that he learned by teaching the children. Likewise, the Quran as well. Making the Quran firm and strong by teaching the children. And this is also a beneficial way of becoming grounded and firm in the knowledge, by teaching others, even if they're young. Teaching the children and the likes like this is a means of great benefit in learning how to convey the knowledge to them. Also, it's a means of cultivating a person and giving him the talent and the ability to teach, to learn like this first before he steps up to teach elders and the likes like this, or those of his same age or peers. And then to begin with the children and helping the children, or helping the new Muslims and the likes like this. This all gives him experience in this particular field and helps him to grow in learning and in teaching. So the point is now that these are the two types of friends. One of them, or companions or colleagues in the class with the students of knowledge. One of them is more knowledgeable than him. He benefits from him directly. And by learning and gaining knowledge and understanding, benefiting from his manners and etiquettes and his experience and knowledge. The other one is lesser. He benefits from him likewise by teaching him and helping him and directing him. Type of individual, somebody who is considered his peer, and they're very close on the same level. So then they will review together. So this is the case. And he will never get bored of any of them, because in every circumstance and situation, he's benefiting. And this is the most beneficial manner. The companions that one will have, that he knows nothing about them except knowledge and benefiting from knowledge. If he sees them, it's only about knowledge. If they talk, they're only talking about knowledge. They're only reviewing issues in knowledge, whether it's in creed, or whether it's in issues of faith, or issues with regards to the hereafter, or whether it's with regards to principles in fiqh, or with regards to rulings in tahara or in salat, so on and so forth. It's all related to knowledge. Their whole relationship revolves around knowledge. Al-ilmu rahimun bayna ahlihi. And this is their life like this. These are from the greatest friends and the best companions that one would have. That whenever you see them, they don't remind you of the dunya. They don't talk about the dunya. Like Abu Dawood, he mentioned about Imam Ahmad, وَمَا ذَكَرَ الدُّنْيَا قَطْ. He never mentioned the worldly life. And his gatherings were the gatherings of the hereafter. كان مجالس أحمد مجالس الآخرة. لم يذكر الدنيا خط. ما سمعته يذكر الدنيا خط. I never heard him mention the worldly life ever. Meaning for the sake of the worldly life. If they mention the worldly life, it's in order to understand the rulings of the worldly life, the rulings of marriage and divorce, the rulings of the food and the drink, the halal and the haram, and that which is permissible and impermissible. This is not mentioning the worldly life for the worldly life. This is mentioning the rulings of the worldly life in order to get to the hereafter. So in reality, these are majalis al-akhirah, the gatherings of the hereafter. So these type of companions are like diamonds and gems, and they're very rare and they're very few. And if a person, he found them, he would hold on to them and never let them go. And he'll make dua for them. And rather, he'll make dua to have the likes of them. And we have seen that as well. In the original text of Al-Majmu', it continues this portion here. And he mentioned, وَبِإِرْشَادِهِمْ يُبَارِكْ لَهُ فِي إِلْمِهِ وَيَسْتَنِيرُ قَلْبُهُ وَتَتَأَكَّدُ الْمَسَائِلْ مَعَهُ مع جزير ثواب الله عز وجل ومن بخل بذلك كان بضده فلا يثبت معه وإن ثبت لم يثمر. Mentioning here the issue of reviewing and going over the knowledge and benefiting the companions and the other students of knowledge with him. He said, and by directing the other students, to the good, and helping them and reviewing with them in this manner and teaching the ones who need help and clarifying for those who are struggling and reviewing with those who are his peers and learning from those who are more knowledgeable. Being involved with the students of knowledge in this manner, hoping good for them from every aspect and directing them to the good that one knows with regards to knowledge and the people of knowledge and the circles and gatherings of knowledge. He says, by doing this, Allah will bless his knowledge. By doing this, Allah will bless his knowledge. Because now he's being humble. He's being humble. The one who is from the students of knowledge and he thinks he's better than the others, he will not benefit from the one who is older than him, and he will never benefit from the one who is younger than him, except in a manner of tyranny, and he being overpowering him or using him and the likes like this. Waliyadhu billah. So the one who humbles himself in this manner and he's dealing with his peers like companions and friends and respecting those of honor and those who are more knowledgeable than him and benefiting from them, and also humbling himself and benefiting and helping those who are lower than him and cooperating with his peers and the likes like this. This is a means for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put blessing in his efforts. And we see, because now no matter where he's at or who he's with, he's benefiting with knowledge. If those people who are around him, they're more knowledgeable than him, he's benefiting. If those people who are around him are lesser in knowledge than him, he's benefiting. If those people who are around him are his peers and equal to him or close to him in knowledge, he's benefiting. And the likes like this. And this is how he will live. He will come on the way to the classes. Many times he will be like this with the students, or after or before the class he will be with the students, or after the class he will be with the students, and the likes like this. And in this manner he will benefit from all of them, and this will be a means for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the knowledge that he has, and for his heart to be enlightened, and for the light to enter his heart, and for the issues that he's learning to become firm and established, meaning that the knowledge will become grounded with him by reviewing and going over knowledge and spending his time like this, along with what he will have from the great reward from Allah Azza wa Jal. And the one who is stingy or greedy with his knowledge, then he will be contrary to that, and his knowledge will not remain with him. And even if it does remain with him, it will not produce the fruits that are hoped for. And the one who's stingy with knowledge, meaning he does not help others, and he does not direct others, and he learns and he keeps his knowledge to himself, and the likes like this, then his knowledge is not going to remain with him. يزيد بكثرة الإنفاق منه وينقص به كفًا شددت. So this is the case with him. Even if it does remain with him, meaning his memorization is strong, but he does not help others or spread his knowledge, then the fruit of that will not last. And the end of his affair is that whenever he dies, then his knowledge will die with him. And the benefit of that likewise. As for the one who benefits others with his knowledge, even if they're his peers or those who are younger than him or older than him and the likes like this, then his knowledge and the benefit of his knowledge and the fruits of that will remain and continue even after he has died, so long as the people continue to benefit. Now he says, ثَمَرَةُ ذَلِكَ, the fruit of this and the benefit of this. قال الإمام النووي رحمه الله إثر ما تقدم. He says, Al-Imam al-Nawawi, he mentioned just after that which has preceded. وإذا فعل ما ذكرناه وتكاملت أهليته واشتهرت فضيلته اشتغل بالتصنيف وجد في الجمع والتأليف محققا كل ما يذكره مبينا في نقله واستنباطه متحريا لإيضاح العبارات وبيان المشكلات مجتنبا العبارات الركيكات والأدلة الواهيات مستوعبا معظم أحكام ذلك الفن غير مخل بشيء من أصوله منبها على القواعد فبذلك تظهر له الحقائق وتنكشف المشكلات ويطلع على الغوامض وحل المعضلات ويعرف مذاهب العلماء والراجح من المرجوح ويرتفع عن الجمود على محض التقليد ويلتحق بالأئمة المجتهدين أو يقاربهم إن وفقه الله وبالله التوفيق. انتهى كلام النووي. He says. So now Al-Imam al-Nawawi, he says rahimahullah, after that which has preceded, that if a person he were to do what we have mentioned, and he were to take these advices and to apply them and abide by them and work with them, and he has fulfilled the qualifications in learning, meaning he has memorized those particular summarized texts, for example, and learned them properly in each science until he has become grounded in knowledge and qualified yani to understand and to benefit, and his virtue has been widespread and well known, and he becomes widespread and well known. At this time, he will busy himself with authoring works, and he will strive to gather the knowledge in that manner to author works, and he will also, along with that, strive to actualize everything or to do it properly, everything that he mentions, and to clarify in great detail everything that he mentions, and clarifying that which he has transmitted, and where it came from, and the likes like this. This is also from the amana. A person, whenever he transmits the knowledge, he will reference it in the likes like this. If it came from this particular work, then he'll reference it in that manner. In general, the narrations to the books of the Sunnah, and likewise the particular benefits maybe that are found by the particular scholars, and the likes like this. And likewise, striving to clarify the issues in the most clear and best manner, choosing the best expressions and words to use, clarifying the problems or the doubts that may occur, or that the people of misguidance may present, and the likes like this. All the while likewise staying away or avoiding the expressions that are weak, or they're not proper or not good. Al-ibarat al-rakikat, the type of speech that is not arranged in a beautiful and eloquent manner. Likewise, he would avoid using the evidences that are weak and not accepted, striving his best to clarify the majority of the rulings of that particular science without falling short in anything from its fundamentals, and likewise mentioning the issues with regards to the principles. And in this manner, if he were to do like this, then the realities of knowledge will become clear to him, and the misunderstandings or misconceptions, likewise, they will be revealed, and he will be able to understand the knowledge in great depth, and he will be able to solve the problems that occur in the knowledge and the likes like this. And he will have knowledge of the methodologies of the scholars, and he will be able to determine that which is strong in the scale of evidence from that which is not strong. And in this manner, he will rise from the level or the low level of blind following entirely, until he reaches the level of the scholars or the imams that are striving to understand the ruling, or he becomes close to them. And even if he didn't reach that great level of ijtihad, he will come close to them, and this is if Allah, he grants him success, and the success is with Allah Azza wa Jal. So this is the case here. And meaning after the student has taken these advices and followed them, and he has become qualified and well grounded in knowledge, now at this time he will begin authoring works. Likewise as well teaching, similar like this. The same issues could be mentioned as well with regards to teaching, whether he's writing the works down or writing the benefits down, collecting the benefits and verifying them and checking them and clarifying them and writing them down and authoring a particular work by pen, or whether he's doing the same thing and then presenting that in classes. Likewise, this is very similar. Is very similar, although no doubt there's a difference between the works that are authored and then the classes that are delivered verbally. But the issues here and the means of preparing for that and the requirements for that, they are very similar. So he will strive in the same manner like this. And this is the case here, whether he's sitting in front of the people to teach, or whether he is going to author these works in this manner. Whenever he strives like this is how one will reach that high level. By reviewing the knowledge. I remember a number of the doctors who taught us in the university in the beginning, in the first years in the Kulliyat al-Hadith. We would hear it from more than one of them, that they would say right now, they would say that you will not truly begin seeking knowledge until you graduate. He said you will not truly begin seeking knowledge until you graduate. And he maybe at that time many of us didn't really understand what he meant. After graduating and then being a teacher and the likes like that, a person, he will realize and understand what they meant, because now all that knowledge that one had gathered and those benefits that he obtained, now he's applying that and researching and reviewing and gathering the benefits and collecting the issues and verifying them and the likes like this. And now he has the keys. After those first few years, or after those first several years, then in this manner he obtains the keys. And after having those keys, now he realizes that the seeking knowledge has really begun. Seeking knowledge has really begun, and he's tasting the fruits of that. Tasting the fruits of that by being able to open the books and to research in the books and to compare the statements of the scholars and to look at the evidences and to see the strength of one over the other, and that this one is heavy in the scale of evidence and the likes like this. He's saying in this manner, by reviewing in this case in this manner, he will rise and become strong. From الأئمة المجتهدين, that's a high level. But أو يقاربهم, يقاربهم والله أعلم. This is what would happen in these days. Somebody could become close to that, meaning he will be able to identify the statements of the people of knowledge and see the one that is heavy in the scale of evidence in order to follow that. And this is a great blessing and a high level of knowledge. You need to reach a level of knowledge that one is able to look into the statements of the scholars and understand them clearly, and to understand what they intended and how they're using the evidences of proof and why one of them is stronger than the other, and the likes like this. This is what he's mentioning. This is what he's mentioning here. If he were to continue, he will reach this level. After this, the author, he says, rahimahullah, آداب يشترك فيها العالم والمتعلم. آداب يشترك فيها العالم والمتعلم. Now there are manners here that the scholar and the student, the teacher and the student, they both share. He says, ينبغي لكل منهما ألا يخل بوظيفته لعروض مرض خفيف ونحوه مما يمكن معه الاشتغال، وألا يسأل أحدا تعنتا وتعجيزا، فالسائل تعنتا وتعجيزا لا يستحق جوابا. So now he says, with regards to those manners, that both the teacher and the student, they must participate, or they share in, that it's incumbent for both of them that they will not be short. They will not fall short or be deficient in seeking knowledge and striving to learn in that which they're involved in, from learning and from teaching. Whenever a light sickness occurs to them, or something else that will happen to them, from the affairs of life, that could, so long as they're able to continue being busy with knowledge. The teacher teaching and learning, or the teacher learning and teaching, and the student learning and studying. So he's mentioning now, again, the reminder, both of them, they should do whatever they can to continue in this manner. And the events that occur in life, they should not let them deter them or stop them from a light type of sickness, or the likes like this, from the affairs that it's possible for them to continue al-ishtighal. This word has come a number of times in this work, and what he's intended by that, al-ishtighal, literally means to be busy with something, to work with something, or to be preoccupied with something. But what he's talking about is al-ishtighal bil-ilm, to be busy with knowledge. So he's using this word to refer to that. So this is the way of a student, and likewise a teacher. Their life is fi al-ishtighal bil-ilm. Their whole life is like this, busy and preoccupied with knowledge. And not only that, but we see as well, not only are they busy with knowledge, but also from the traits of the teacher and the students that are successful and beneficial is that they busy others with knowledge as well. So then one of the traits here is al-ishtighal wal-ishghal. And this is the way of the people of knowledge. They're busy with knowledge, and they busy you with knowledge. They're busy with knowledge, and they keep you busy with knowledge. And this is a great benefit. And this is also what he was referring to as well, from the advice or the method or the manners of the student. And he's busy with knowledge, and he's busy others around him with knowledge. Come on, there's a class. Come participate with us. There's a class today at this particular time. We're attending and benefiting a lot, like this. So he's busy with knowledge, and he's trying to help others become busy with knowledge. And likewise, the teacher, he's busy with knowledge, And his goal is to busy others with knowledge. And those who turn away from much of the delights of this life, or from the trials of this life, or from the fitan of this life, and the joys of this life, and he busies himself with knowledge in this manner like this, he will find the delight that you cannot purchase and buy. They'll find the delight that you cannot purchase and buy, and the delight of joy and the happiness of sincere faith, and the sweetness of knowledge, and this is something that's very beneficial. And the people who turn away from this, if they do not busy themselves with beneficial knowledge, then they'll busy themselves with something. Then they're going to busy themselves with something. The soul, if it's not preoccupied, then it will preoccupy a person. And if a person does not preoccupy himself with something beneficial, it will preoccupy him with falsehood, or something that is haram or impermissible. So by busying oneself with knowledge and busying others with knowledge likewise, this is a great benefit, and keeping a person safe from sin and the likes like this, and keeping them away from fitan and trials. And this is also from the ways of the devil, to turn the people away from knowledge, to keep them ignorant, or to keep them from benefiting, or to make it unclear who the people of knowledge are, or who those who are holding the knowledge and are beneficial for the ummah, to make it unclear to the people who they are, so they do not benefit. And then they'll preoccupy themselves with something lesser or something worse, and they'll be involved in the fitan and the trials, and they will not be a benefit for themselves and not for the ummah. Waliyadhu billah. But as for those who turn away from the likes of these affairs, and they busy themselves with knowledge, and they busy others with knowledge, you will find that after some time they have great benefit with them. They have great benefit with them in their life and in their family, and likewise in those who come in contact with them. They have in themselves, they have great benefit. They find a sa'ad and happiness and a joy in their heart and their life from being busy with knowledge and hearing the verses of Allah recited, and the statements of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam being clarified. So this is the case here, to busy oneself with knowledge at all times, and to busy others with knowledge likewise. Al-ishtighal wal-ishghal. And he says after this, rahimahullah, and he will not ask anyone a question ta'annutan wa ta'jiza. Ta'annutan yani in stubborn rebellion, or ta'jizan yani trying to make them fall into error, or trying to make them to ask them a question that they are not able to answer. And there are narrations that have come. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam naha an al-ughlutat. Al-ughlutat, yani these are the issues that a person, he will ask a particular question or present them in order to try to make the questioner fall into error or mistakes. Try to fall in error or mistakes, and this is a foul way. And he says, and they will not do this. They will not do this ever. And this narration with regards to ughlutat, it has some weakness in it, but the people of knowledge, they mentioned the meaning is correct, and it's something that's blameworthy. He said, وَأَلَّا يَسْأَلُ أَحَدًا تَعَنُّتًا وَتَعْجِيزًا فَالسَّائِلُ تَعَنُّتًا وَتَعْجِيزًا لَا يَسْتَحِقُّ جَوَابًا. So the one who asks questions in this manner like this out of stubborn rebellion, or the people who ask questions of fitna, and it's apparent from the circumstantial evidences of that particular person that he's a person of trials or fitna, or the way that he's asking and he doesn't intend good, and the likes like this, or he's asking a question to try to make the teacher seem like he does not know, so on and so forth, or to make him fall into error. He says the one who asks questions like this, لا يستحق جوابا, he does not deserve to be answered. So you'll find that many times the people of knowledge, they'll turn away from the likes of these individuals. They'll turn away from the likes of these individuals who ask questions like this in this manner, and they'll turn away from them. Or they will respond to them without answering their question and directing them to something which is more important, or which is more rightful for them, and the likes like this. And no doubt that the intention is in the heart, but sometimes a person, he's able to feel, and he'll have firasa, especially the people of knowledge, they'll have that firasa and the intuition, and also from the circumstantial evidences along with that particular questioner and the questions that he's asking and the situation that they're in, that it could appear to a person that he's not asking with a good intention. Even some of them, they will go and review one particular issue in great detail and memorize it properly, and then come ask the question in class in order to show himself. And it's only one issue from an ocean of knowledge that he mastered and he learned properly at that moment, and he knows it now. He knows it now. Probably the teacher, he learned that many years ago. But maybe because it's a detailed issue, it's something that if it's not reviewed, it will not be any fresh in his mind, for example. And then the student will come try to ask the question, either in order to make the teacher look bad, or to make him look like he does not know, or to make himself look like he knows, or to make himself look like he knows. And all of this is foul. And all of this is found from showing off and from seeking a worldly status and a position with knowledge. And this is not proper, and this is not praiseworthy, and this is not good. So the one who asks like this, he will not be answered, or he will be redirected in the likes like this. Some people, they come and they ask questions, and from their questions it seems as if their heads and their hearts are full of nothing but doubts. Full of nothing but doubts. And they have turned away from learning the foundations of the religion, and they could not do anything except for read the doubts of the Sufiya, or read the doubts of the Khawarij. And so because of this, now all they have in their hearts are doubts. But had they followed the proper methodology and learned the fundamentals and foundation, those doubts would not be there in the first place. And then sometimes people, they ask the likes of these questions in order to cause fitna, or in order to cause trials. So the question, if it's not sincerity for the sake of Allah, then it could be a bad affair. On the other hand, if a person, he's sincere in asking a question, hoping to benefit either himself or to benefit others, then this is a great means of learning and bringing about great benefit for the students in general. And many times a person, maybe he will ask something he already knows, but in order for others to benefit, as we have seen in the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam. So asking questions is from the means of learning. And when Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he was asked how he obtained all that knowledge that he obtained, he said, bi qalbin aqul wa lisanin sa'ul, with a heart that is reflective and pondering and thinking deeply, and a heart that has intelligence, and with a tongue that is always asking questions. And he asking questions in order to know the truth, in order to apply it. So this is a beneficial means of learning. As for whenever a person is asking questions for other reasons than that, then this now becomes blameworthy. Some of them, even they will sit and look at their phone and do a Google search and get a fatwa real fast, and then ask a question to see if the teacher answers the question according to the fatwa that Google just told them, and the likes like this, as if the people of knowledge are not aware of the likes of these affairs. So this is all from the lowly manners a person he would avoid and stay away from. And the people who are busy with knowledge, the scholars and the teachers and the students of knowledge, they have experience with the likes of these affairs. So just as a person has experience with the beneficial means of knowledge, also he has experience with the people who are troublemakers or are not following the manners properly. After this, he says, وَأَنْ يَعْتَنِيَ بِالتَّحْصِيلِ الْكُتُبِ شِرَاءً وَاسْتِعَارَةً وَلْيَشْتَغِلْ بِنَسْخِهِ أو استنساخه إذا كان نفيسا. He said, وَلْيَعْتَنِي بِتَصْحِيحِهِ ولا يرتضي الاستعارة مع إمكان تحصيله فإن استعاره لم يبطئ به لئلا يفوت الانتفاع به على صاحبه ولا يكسل عن تحصيل الفائدة منه ولا يمتنع من إعارته غيره لأنه عيانة على العلم مع ما في مطلق العارية من الفضل. So he says, likewise he will have concern with obtaining books by purchasing them or by borrowing them. Also, he will be busy and he spend time copying them or having others copy them for him. And if it was something that was very precious and a book that's very valuable and beneficial. Before there were no printing presses. There was no printing press, so the books, they would be copied. So either the student, he will copy the book, he would have the original text that is relied upon, that has been checked and been considered verified, and he will copy that, and he will write it down with his own hands, word for word, or he will pay somebody who's called the nasakh, is the one who he busies himself like this. He will pay him to do that for him. So this is how they used to be with the knowledge. Any of the books, they are not printed. He will not buy a print like this, whether it will be handwritten. Either he will write it himself, or the person who is take this as an occupation, he would do that. He would do that, and he would write it in this manner like this. So he would purchase the books, he would borrow the books, he would copy the books himself. It's been mentioned about Hafidh al-Hakimi rahimahullah that one time whenever he visited Mecca, that he had met one of the scholars of Mecca, and he had a particular book that had just, it just came. It was something very rare. And whenever he seen the book, he asked to borrow it, and who's going to give it back to him? He brought it back the next day, and he said, "Are you finished with it?" He said, "I finished with it." He said, "You don't need it longer." He said, "You already read it all last night." He said, "I copied it down all last night." And he stayed up, and he copied it with his hand, and he wrote the book with his own hand the whole night, and he finished it. And he finished it in one night. So this was in recent history, and this was in recent history. So the fact that we have printing presses now, and the knowledge is very readily available, this is something that's a great blessing that those students of knowledge did not have before us. He says also he'll have concern with correcting the text as well, and checking it and verifying it. So again, we discussed this previously that with regards to in our days, those particular texts and those prints and those books, they have to be verified and they have to be checked. And there are some of them that are reliable, and there are some that are not reliable. There are some books that are reliable, and there are some that are not reliable. And one will not simply look at the printing press. He will not say, "Oh, this is from this particular printing press or this particular bookstore, and everything they print is proper or the best or most reliable print," and the likes like that. It's not the case. That's not the case. A reliable print of a particular book may be from this printing press, and another book from that printing press, so on and so forth. So it's not specific like this, and this is even more emphasized with regards to the books that have many volumes, and the books that are from the great heritage of Al-Islam, from the great books of tafsir, and the great books of the explanation of hadith, and likewise the texts of hadith, the text of the Kutub al-Sittah, so on and so forth. There's particular prints that are reliable, that have been checked and been verified, that the people of knowledge, they rely upon, and they prefer, and they recommend. And then there's other prints likewise that are just, maybe some of them are better than others, but they're not those who the scholars have preferred and relied upon. So this is something to be known. So if he's going to buy a particular tafsir, especially if it's something that's expensive, then he's going to buy the right one. Some of the people of knowledge mentioned that if you bought the book from the wrong print, it's as if you don't have the book. So he bought Fath al-Bari and he got the wrong print, for example. Fath al-Bari is 16 volumes, from Dar es-Salaam. But if you get the wrong print, it's like you don't have the book. It'll be very cheap. It'll be very deficient. It will have the quality. The academic quality is not going to be good. So you have to be careful which one you buy, especially with regards to these books that have great volumes, and that could be expensive. And the likes like this. Because then a person is wasting his money. As for some books today of authors of today, then maybe it's a little bit lighter. The issue here is a little bit lighter because the printing presses, they're going to print that which is written today. The point is to know about this. This is something that's important with regards to students of knowledge. There's a science with regards to knowing prints. You want to learn about the books that you have to learn about the books, and also you have to learn about the prints. The prints of the book. This is a whole science itself. This is a whole type of knowledge itself that you will learn about when you're seeking knowledge, especially a student of hadith. So the one who's going to purchase the books, he has to learn about the prints of the books. Before they had the makhtutat and the different means of verifying that. Today we have prints and we have tahqiqat. So they will check the makhtutat. So if it's checked by the proper person and it's qualified and verified by the people of knowledge, then this is the one that a student he will rely upon and he will purchase and he will have in his library. If not, then he will look at the situation. Sometimes now in America we just get what we can get our hands on because the books are not available. But if somebody had the ability and he had the money, he had the time, and he's going to buy the likes of these books for a library, then he will be diligent to learn the proper prints. From those scholars of our day that were very knowledgeable in prints, Khalid Raddadi, rahimahullah ta'ala, he died recently, rahmatullahi alayhi, and he was very knowledgeable with regards to this, and he has some work, any brief work with regards to the best prints of Kutub al-Sittah and the explanations of Kutub al-Sittah. It can be found in PDF form and the likes like that. And likewise as well from those scholars who are well known for the knowledge of books and prints, Sheikh Abdul Bari al-Ansari. All of the scholars, they're aware of this affair, but from those who we benefited the most from Sheikh Khalid Radadi, rahimahullah, and Sheikh Abdul Bari al-Ansari, they were very involved in this issue of the different prints of the different works. So this is something likewise that is very important. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.